Hello guys and welcome back, and today we'll be gonna writing our first Python program. So I know you guys must be ready and excited because you'll be writing your first program. Now many a times it happens that whenever someone tells you that wow, you'll be gonna writing your first program, so you must have heard about the Hello World program. Now, if you are familiar with a few or some programming languages, or maybe if you've researched a lot about programming languages, so you might know that Hello World is the first programming language through which you can understand how the program works and learn all its syntax correctly. So for writing that, you just have to follow what I'm writing. So you'll be writing print, print, then brackets. You just have to type that once, and Python will automatically give you the second bracket, and then go for single quotation marks or double quotation marks. That depends on you, but I always use double quoted marks. So yeah, you can use anything, and you'll just write hello world. Okay, so that's it. Now I have told you that in the last video that there's no new line at the end of the file, so you gotta make a line just like that. So it will give you a tick mark right here, and that would be great. So now how to run it? Now if you want to run that, you can just simply right click, and you may see that there are a lot of things, and you can just click on this run first. You also have a shortcut for that, Control Shift F10, but yeah, you can just do that. And now what will happen is it will open a window like this. Okay, I hope you're able to see, and it will just show this hello world. Okay, now you just have to ignore all this because that's the location where this basics project is, your script is saved. So you just have to ignore that, and then use your code. You can just write whatever you wanna do. Next, you may see that there's something like process finished with exit code 0. Now what does that mean? That means that your code has been successfully run. The PyCharm called Python, and he just said that, hey, I have some code, can you just run that for me? And then the Python says yes, of course, and then the Python gives the output, and then the PyCharm shows us over here, and after that it shows us that the process is finished with exit code 1, which means that whatever program we have written is finished and executed fully. So congratulations, because you have made your first program in Python. So you just have to congratulate yourself. So I know that might be like, oh, is this the first program we're ever gonna make? But don't worry, because at the end of this playlist or course, you'll be able to make a fully functional calculator right here. Now there are GUIs, which is graphical user interfaces, and we can make that also with the help of this. So how we are gonna make it, we'll learn that later in this course, because right now you just have to focus on how to print things and do stuff like that. So now let me just show you this. Okay, so now there's this print. Okay, so what does print do? That it just says that we are telling PyCharm to take this code to Python, and then the Python gives us the output and the PyCharm shows us the output. So what we are trying to tell in a code is that please just print on the running console, and whatever we are going to write, it will just print that. So now just assume that we just remove these quotation marks. So now you'll see that it gives you an error. So what does this mean? Now we are doing the same thing, but just we have removed the quotation marks. So now there are 4 types of data in Python. So first of all, I'll just tell you how to comment on Python. You just have to put a hashtag and then space, and then you can write anything and Python will ignore that. So first of all, let's just comment this. Okay, so we commented this, so it shows us a tick right here. Now there are 4 types in which you can store data. So the first type is string. Okay, string. Second is integers. Third, floats. And fourth, Boolean values. Now before learning that, we'll just learn the concept of variables so that you recognize these a bit more properly. So what are variables? Well, variables are a type of storage devices in which you can store any type of data. So creating a variable in Python is really easy compared to the other languages. So you just don't have to specify anything about the variable, but just give it a name, like you're just saying greeting. Okay, you just have to type that, whatever the name of your variable is, and then give a space, equals, and give a space, and you can just write whatever, like hello. Okay, so that's how you make a variable. So now whenever, if you print this variable, for example, print greeting, and then if you run, so now first, where after you have just right clicked that and just run that, so this will just store it, and so you can just use this run button or this run button to execute the code. And now when I'm trying to print this variable, it's giving me whatever stores in that variable. So because I have stored hello in that variable, so it's giving me the output as hello. So those are variables. Now what is all these strings, integers, floats, and Boolean values? So string is something that contains letters. Now if you type any special characters like %, dollar, and star, hashtag, and stuff, no error will come, because that's a string and you can write anything you want in that string. So you can just type anything. Now what's an integer? Well, you must have learned that concept in mathematics. Integers are numbers which vary from negative to positive numbers. Now if you wanna just name that like 1, so you can do that and no error will come. You can just type any number you want, and it's perfectly fine. So that's integers. Integers always consist only and only of numbers. Okay, now the next are floats. So what are floats? Floats are similar to integers, but the only difference is that it always contains a point number. Now, if you want this integer and you want to convert it into float, you can just simply type decimal 0. So yeah, that's called floats. Now, Boolean values. What are Boolean values? Now, it always is like either it's true or it's false. Same goes with Boolean values. It's either true, okay, that's a Boolean value, or it is a false. So these are Boolean values, and you'll learn a bit about them later in this course, so don't forget to watch it till the end. Now, there are some criteria in writing the variable name too. Now, the first thing is you just cannot, put any this. You cannot put any special characters because that's not allowed. Any special character, it will just give you an error. And so first is that you cannot put any special character, even question marks and exclamation marks. You cannot even put this dot in the variable name. Now you can put a number. For example, I just put 3 and 4. So that's not giving me an error, but it's just saying that there's no word like this, but still I'll accept it. Okay, my user has given me this, so I'll have to do this. So you can write numbers, but even for that we have some criteria. You just cannot write any number for the variable name, or else it will give you an error. So yeah, and there are two types of writing variable names. Now, if you want to write something that contains two words, for example, hey there, okay? So, hey there. Now, yeah, one more thing is that you cannot add spaces between the variables. That's absolutely not allowed. So, what you can do is either join it with an underscore. Yeah, you can use underscore. So, you can just either use this as an underscore, or you can even write it in camel case. Now, what's camel case? Camel case means that the first letter of that word should be small, and everything should be small in that first word. And when you start with the second word, you just have to put a capital on the first letter of that word. You can see here, this whole thing is small and this thing is capital. The T in this is capital, and there. So I hope you understood all this stuff. Now I'll show you some things about strings. Okay, so I'll tell you about concatenating. Now, what's concatenating? Well, it's nothing but mixing two things. Now, concatenating can be done by two methods. For example, you write there, okay, you just write there hello, okay, sorry, and then you just duplicate that, and you can just write your name. For example, my name is Ayushi, so you can just do that name and greeting. So you can just see that we have created two variables. One's called name and one's called greeting. So now you want it such that it prints something like hello Ayushi. So how can you do that is, you can just type print, then you just have to type the name of the first variable, which is greeting, and then the way of concatenating is just place a plus sign, space, a blank string with a space in it, then again a plus sign, and then you can just write the name, which is name. So now after doing this, you'll see that it comes like hello space Ayushi. So we'll just test that. You can see that it's come here successfully. So how does that work? Now, since these both variables are made up of strings, so the plus here means that you want to add them together. Now, it's obvious that you cannot add any string, can you? No. Why? Because strings are not numbers in which you can add them. So yeah, and you just see that. Now why are we putting this space over here? For example, you just do like that and you just see that it's coming like, there is no space right here. It's looking really bad. So why is that coming? It's coming because you haven't given any space right here. So it's not about grammar. The Python does not understand any grammar but its own language. So in its own language, it says that whenever I have to merge two things, I just have to merge two things without adding a space in it. So that's why when you want to specify two things, you have to do this, and sorry. Okay, so that's exactly how it's done. Now the second way of doing it, which is simpler, is just writing the first variable, comma, space, and then name. Now there's no need for a comma and there's no need for the space after the comma. But if you do that, you just violate the rule of PEP8. Now, if I do this, you'll see that it's giving me something like there's missing white space after comma. So even though if I run it, it'll give me the same this thing even if I put a comma. It will give me the same output. So why is it telling me? Because the PyCharm understands that okay, the user hasn't put a white space after that comma. Why? I don't know, but still I'll give Python the way it should be given because I don't want to make my user angry. So the Python does that automatically. So it's that. Now, what was I talking? Now, if you don't give any end line, so still it will show something like this. Now, whenever a gray box like this comes, it means that you need to format that file because you're writing it the wrong way. But there are no errors right there. Error means a red box, a red circle to be honest, and when it's all correct, you'll get a tick. But if there's something that is not in the English dictionary, it will just give this line and the tick will also have this line. So if I just add something like hi, which is in the English language, you'll see that the underline is gone, but that doesn't make any difference. So that's exactly how it's done. So first of all, if you add this comma, it will just think that there are arguments. After adding this they will think that okay, so first I'll have to print greeting. Okay, that's done, fine. But then I give the PyCharm another argument, which is name, and then PyCharm thinks that oh, there's another argument, so let's print that too. So that'll print that with spaces. Now, if you wanna do it like this, and if you wanna be like hello, so they are both kind of So you can if you do this, you'll see that there's a space between which you don't want. So that's why this thing is used in which there is this plus sign so that you can do this. So hope you guys understood, and in the next video we'll be talking about operators. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any upload of mine. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye bye.